with you in your homeland.
Yeah, Andrew Rice. It's nice to have you here in Melbourne, but especially here at Royal Melbourne, isn't it?
Special spot, eh?
It is. This is where I started my caddying as a kid.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Little different clubhouse,
Yeah.
but the golf course is still magic.
Yeah. It's amazing. That President's Cup was incredible to see how, certainly in America, what I noticed when people watched it, and many people did obviously, but the takeaway was people were saying, how can we have a US Open at Royal Melbourne? How can we have this tournament? How can we have a tournament at Royal Melbourne every year? Fantastic.
It's a special place. It's not that long these days, but the greens and the whole character of the course, you still have to, it's a shot maker's course.
Yeah.
So, Tiger Woods did really well because he had great control of his irons.
Yeah.
And basically it was an exciting time. But we're here today, and you're here to help further education here in Australia for the Australian PGA.
Looking forward to it. Yeah. I love really one of my favorite, if not my favorite thing to do when it comes to coaching is coaches. And just talk about my experiences and what works and what doesn't work, and essentially just put some suggestions, some tools on coaches. I was going to say young coaches, but not all of us are young anymore.
Well, young at heart's a big deal. Okay.
That's true.
Okay.
That's true. And I love that you've done this for so many years, and you're still here. Here you are coming out to listen to this little old South African guy share some of his experience.
Is that where you got that accent? Okay.
It's a little mixed up, but just give coaches some ideas to see if they can get their players better, do a better job, connect with them better.
Yeah.
That's what it's about.
I think Bill Strasberg said it. He says that those that dare to teach never stop daring to learn. And
Certainly, and you're testament to that. Really.
Well, it's not. It's just there's so much. The first lesson to learn is that there's something to learn.
Is that you don't know it all.
And
I remember thinking that.
And the second lesson is, you don't know it anyway.
Yeah.
So I think a great thing is demonstration of competence is really, it starts with the knowledge and then the training.
Yeah.
But getting good information. And that's why I'm here with you today is you've been very, just watching you on with your, it was Golf Revolution Golf, and now it's Golf Pass.
Correct.
Doing your instructional pieces are very clear and very, they're informative, but they're also very valuable to those that watch them. So
thank you. Peter, my objective whenever I'm filming a video tip or talking to a student or talking to a coach is how can I present my accurate information as simply as possible. I want to paint a picture for you. I always felt that worked best for me as a golfer, and I don't think high caliber golfers are any different to everyday golfers. I think we all need pictures, we all need imagery, something that's simple and clear and accurate, so that we can make this difficult game easier.
Yeah, less complex or complicated.
Yeah.
But let's just find out a little bit about who Andrew Rice is. Firstly, you are a South African, and I see Mark Immerman and what's his brother's name?
Trevor,
he's the guy that won the Masters.
Yeah.
See,
I like that you said Mark first. That's pretty. I'm sure Mark would love that. Yeah.
Well, basically, the thing is, there's 3 South Africans, and those 2 gentlemen are on the broadcast now for
Correct. CBS. I believe,
CBS, and doing the golf. So it's interesting. There's a bit of a South African, infiltration in the instruction. It started back. Dean Reimers, the original gentleman.
Yeah.
He came from South Africa to
Phil Ritson.
Phil Ritson.
That's who you're thinking of. Yeah. Phil Ritson. He was South African. His wife, Rena, ended up doing a lot of teaching too. I know their sons now do quite a lot of teaching.
Yeah, it's quite interesting because he initially, Gary Player came over, and of course he was South African, and it was a pretty close thing there. And then, of course, David Ledbetter came from Rhodesia, South Africa. So there's been a lot of migration to the USA for golf instructors.
It seems that way, doesn't it?
Yeah,
You know,
it
it
must.
seems that way. I think ultimately, you know, and I'm sure you're the same, Pete. Everybody who coaches golf would have preferred to have been a player. You know, I think that's
Yeah.
where we all got started.
Yeah.
There's no coach in golf who didn't set out to become a golfer.
Yeah, that's
A
right. No,
champion,
so
yeah.
you got the first person you got to teach is yourself. If you can't, to be the best teacher, the first person you got to be teaching is you.
Yeah,
So I think that's the value of being a golf coach. I think that actually every amateur, every person that plays golf has to become the best teacher
yeah,
because
yeah.
they ultimately have to.
Everybody's trying to teach themselves
They have to
to
teach
some
themselves
degree. Yeah,
ultimately,
yeah.
Coaching's another thing. So you can get outside. We all need mentoring too.
Mm.
That's another thing I've noticed over the years, that always looking for people that have walked the walk and done good stuff, and find out, ask them if they'll for their advice. So,
Yeah.
but okay, you came from South Africa. Did you play any of the tour over there in South Africa?
I did. You know, when I would say in the late '80s, no, early '90s, I chased the dream a little bit, and that was 3 or 4 years. Tried to play a little bit over in America, played a little bit in South Africa. In the alternate season there, I didn't play for very long. I must probably chased the dream for about 3.5 years.
Did you play in Europe at all? In the Europe?
I did not.
Didn't
I
go
did
that
not.
way.
No.
Preferred to go to the States.
Yeah. I'd gone to the States to play college golf, and so I had a base there,
Oh,
and
makes
I
sense.
knew how things worked over there, and so that's where I really try to not really learn how to play, try to get into
Get in the scene.
professional playing, and with limited success. And I said, you know, I need to get a more regular paycheck than what I'm currently earning, and so I was friendly, and I had taken lessons with David Ledbetter. I started working for David.
Right, so that's where you got into the,
Yeah.
your first mentor basically was David.
For sure, yeah.
David Ledbetter in the teaching side.
Yeah,
And you worked with David for how long?
5 or 6 years.
That's a fair stint to
Yeah.
get good, get a foundation.
Yeah. It was a good time to work for David. He was the man in coaching. He was really kind of, I view David as the godfather of modern day golf instruction. He's the guy who kind of
Definitely, yeah.
kicked it off, I think, for all of us, and laid the groundwork for what we do, and made it so much easier for us.
Certainly. Now, from there, any other people that have along the way that you've in recent times you've been?
You know, people often ask me who is your mentor, and who has helped you. And I come up with a pretty, perhaps unsatisfactory answer, and I would say it's the internet.
Right. Okay.
I would say it's the internet.
So you got a chance to watch. And
so many great coaches,
Yeah.
and you get to spend time with people based on their postings, and you go, that person really knows what they're talking about. That person doesn't know so much what they're talking about. And I think it's similar to what golfers go through, you know. There's so much great information out there online, YouTube, nowadays, and the challenge for them, and it doesn't take people long before they can see through the smoke and mirrors as to whether somebody knows what they're talking about or not. And I've learned so much since the advent of the internet. I think of, you know, even my time with David, what I learned and what I understood in that decade compared to really the last 4 or 5 years. I've learned 5 times in the last 4 or 5 years as to what I learned in that decade. You know?
By comparing, a comparison, you can compare what this person says, how workable this is, and is it simple enough, and all that stuff.
Certainly.
But
Yeah.
from a teaching point of view, I know that you've taught from good players to beginners, and you do golf schools. You said you prefer. It's nice to coach coaches. You feel a lot of
I
satisfaction.
love doing that. Yeah.
But is there a difference between teaching a beginner or high handicap golfer as opposed to a low handicapper or playing or a teaching pro?
I think ultimately it's not that different, but the margins are different. If you're trying to take a tour player and get them to a point where they're struggling to keep their card to winning, I think you've got slender margins there. And you've got to be bang on with your information, and you've got to keep that player on point, on track.
When you say that, say someone comes to you, let's take Jason Day, okay, as a good case. He's got a bad back, right?
Yes.
Now, what causes his bad back? You know, and how do you minimise the strain on that play? Like, there's a guy that he's admitted recently that where he used to spend 2 hours on the putting green, now he can only spend half an hour because he just can't stand over.
Sure.
So
it's a thing.
So that sort of player, a tour player that comes in, not just Jason Day, because a lot of the interesting thing I heard the other day is that 90% of the tour players that are out there have got some sort of back issue.
Well, here's the thing, and people go, oh, it's the way they swing. Here's the deal, okay? We got genetics, okay? Genetics. Some people are prone to injury, just a fact, okay?
Correct.
Some people never get injured. But here's the deal, okay? If I stood here and I clapped my hands together 1,000 times a day, every day,
you're going to get hurt.
I'm going to get hurt, okay? And people will go, well, you're clapping your hands wrong. I don't think so. I'm just clapping, okay?
So it's basically the big deal here is that if they work a lot, if
you work a lot at anything,
you're going to hurt.
People who type on a computer a lot get bad wrists.
A guy that lays bricks, I mean.
Exactly, okay, and I really don't think, is there something to the way a player swings that's going to create additional pressure? Certainly, okay. If Jason Day came to me, the first people I would consult would be biomechanists and experts in the field of human movement, okay? Spine, doctors, medical professionals.
Make sure his body's aligned properly.
Correct.
Yeah.
And then I would go, okay, how do we need to get this player to move in a fashion that takes care of that? Because if Jason Day's injured, Jason Day is not Jason Day. Okay. No matter what I can do to his golf swing, okay, we've got to first and foremost find a way to not injure the player. Okay. And then once you've got that formula, then you've got to build some form of golf swing, golf mechanics around that.
Yeah. So basically, the first in this situation, in which there are a number of players out there on the tour that have got it, that get injured. And
because they're beating balls all day, because that's how you've got to do it to get good.
Yeah. Possibly if they did a little more versatility rather than just hitting lots of full swings.
Possibly, but we'll never know that. You know, possibly, but we'll never know that. And I know there are people in the golf world who believe there's a way to swing so that you never get injured. I think that's 100% false.
No, that's not true.
There is no way for any person to swing so they don't get injured.
If you do squats and you do that many squats, you're going to get a knee or
you're going to get something.
But so basically, if you're going to take a beginner golfer or a high handicap golfer to play golf, what are the most important things that you would want them to do initially?
Okay, beginner golfer. This is my objective in a beginner golfer lesson. I need joy. Okay.
Fun. Okay.
I need, maybe not fun, I wouldn't call it fun. I need their face to light up when they smash that first driver, whether it's 150 or 250 yards, but where they connect out the center of the face and that ball takes off in the air and they go, wow, that was and I'm almost getting chills just thinking of it, okay, because that's what gets golfers into the game. Okay,
exactly.
People, you know, when I hear of a coach taking a beginner through a lesson series where we start close to the hole and we work away, I can tell you there's no joy in making a three-footer. There's no, it's just no one gets attracted to golf.
Only when it means winning a few dollars off your buddies.
Certainly, I get that. But starting out, that's not attractive to people, is holding a three-footer. It's like, oh, okay, I did that.
Yeah.
But smashing that driver, my objective with the beginners, I want to get them to hit that driver up in the air and far and out the sweet spot.
Right, so you start with
one
the long
time.
game.
One time. I'm going to start long game. Yeah. I'll give them some basics. Okay. We'll do some little clipper 8 irons off of a tee, give them a nice basic grip and the basic motion. But my objective in that lesson, the highlight, the priority is, I need a driver.
Yeah, fantastic.
I want to
So
give them something to come back to.
that's a nice thing for us golf coaches to, to put our teeth into. Okay.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so.
Well, is there anything else you'd like to just leave us with today? Because I know we've got a time
Yes,
limit
a little
here.
bit of a time constraint. Peter, I think golfers want to get better. People are watching this because they're hoping to pick something up that they can get better with.
Yeah.
We all wish to be better. The only way for us to get better is to get out there and do it. Do it. We've got to go practice.
You can't sit in the armchair.
You
Can't
cannot
just watch the internet.
You cannot watch the internet and get better. You've got to take some information from the internet, hopefully good, accurate, actionable information.
Or better still, from a golf coach.
Certainly, okay, hopefully from a golf coach. And then you've got to go and put it into action, okay, and you've got to take ownership. I had a quote, I said something the other day, I said, nobody ever got good quickly.
So it's a journey.
It's a journey,
Yeah,
okay,
fantastic.
it's a journey. Work towards it.
And basically, I really appreciate you being down here, and thanks for coming along. We better go and
Let's go.
go and see the others.
That'd be great. Thanks, Pete.
And thanks very much for everybody for listening. And Andrew Rice from it's been nice to talk to
Enjoyed
Andrew
it.
Rice.
Thanks, my friend.
Thank you, sir.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Okay, that was good.